Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Yay!
Woo! In your face.
What up?
Hello, everybody. We are helping with Jasper Game Week, and we are raising money for an amazing cause. This is to help with suicide prevention and to spread awareness about suicide. I know that this is huge for me because I lost my best friend last July. So they have so far raised like over 20,000. I don't even know what the last count was. Technically, it's like 33,000, I think, altogether because they run events outside of their virtual thing. And we wanted to be a part of that. And we're so excited to be here today to help raise money. So we're just going to go around and just everybody introduce yourself as a player. You don't have to do your character stuff yet. So let's start with Ben.
Hi.
Hi.
Ben Roman here. Thread Raider. Happy to be here. Happy to be representing and supporting this wonderful cause. And I apologize to each and every one of you for killing you in the next several minutes. Upcoming hours.
Yes, for those who don't know, we are doing a Hunger Games RPG homebrew that I created. So there may be death upon us.
I think there's guaranteed to be death.
Yeah, pretty much. At least one person, I'm sure.
I mean, it depends how you play it. Who knows? We'll find out.
True.
All right, Daquine.
Daquine, yes, I am Daquine, or as more people know me, as Daquine. Hi, and glad to be here helping out such a good cause.
All right, and Brett.
I guess my name is Brett. I am usually the DM for Geek Attack on this channel at Tuesdays at 9:30. I'm glad to be here.
And Lucha?
Yeah, hi, I'm the Lucha Bear, and I'm glad to help the charity and to collect money for that very good cause.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, Lucha made our overlay, which is absolutely incredible. And they don't realize yet, but we've recruited them for life now. So I hope they understand.
This is their notice.
Okay.
How many overlays are going to be made in the future. I was highly impressed by what happened, so everyone must know. And Duval.
Hit me, Duval. Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob. I am Duval King Jacob on the Twitters and the Instas. So excited to be here, and especially for a cause that is super, super, super important to me. So let's do this. I'm so ready to rock.
Right, and Ryan.
I'm Ryan at Belegmoradin on Twitch and Twitter. Yeah, I'm just excited to lay waste to all these players. You guys don't understand how much smack talk has been going on all week.
Man.
Yeah.
I've never had.
We almost recorded promos. It was
pretty close.
Don't even start with the GIF war we had.
Yes.
Discord.
Yeah.
It's still going on now.
Oh my god.
You know what? I should have screenshotted it and made a space on the overlay just for that. That was
great. Yeah, so I'm real happy to be here and help out. This is a cause that's really important to me. I've lost quite a few friends to suicide, so yep, anything I can do to help.
Yep. And I am Chaotic Anarchy, and I will be your DM today. All right, so we know from the beginning with Hunger Games, this is actually a virtual Hunger Games. So when the characters actually die, it's actually in a virtual dome, and they just are eliminated from it. It's not an actual player death within it. Just wanted to let you all know. And because this is PG-13, this will not have a lot of gore or blood involved, so you don't have to worry about that for those who are watching. And also with the Hunger Games, I did have a couple people mention, hey, this is about kids killing themselves. We did take that out completely. Everybody is a full-grown adult slaughtering each other in the night. So, no worries, there are no children or harmed animals during this event. All right, we all ready to begin? We're good to go? We got our dice?
Maybe.
Oh, dice. No,
Yeah.
I'm just joking. Dice never leave my side.
We don't have characters.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
no!
yeah. I didn't roll my character. Sorry.
Supposed to have a character. Why wasn't I told?
Oh no! I knew it. I knew it. All right. Well, you have until your turn to actually make one.
No problem. No
All right.
problem.
All right.
So you walk down a dark and long stone hallway and attempt to shake off your nerves. Placing both hands on the wooden door, you close your eyes and take a deep breath. Filling in your nostrils with the smoky oak smell filled with the scent of sweat and blood. On the other side of the door, you can hear the muffled sounds of the crowd going wild. It's hard to tell which is beating faster, the war drums or your heart. The reality is set in that this could be one of your last breaths you ever take. It hits you hard, but you have to keep going. Pushing the door open reveals an amphitheater fit for the gods. Beautifully crafted marble columns reach to the sky. 6 massive statues carved in the likeness of each of you can be seen as you walk towards the center of the amphitheater. A 7th spot reveals a statue that has been recently defaced and smashed into bits on the ground. The crowds go wild in anticipation of your arrival. Districts begin chanting for their own warriors, mages, and fighters. A host is standing on stage, their long gown made with a mix of orange and red feathers, clearly from a phoenix. Their hair is a fiery red, and enough makeup on their face to be seen by miles away. Yeah, close up, it may be disturbing to some, I'm not gonna lie. And they shout, "Welcome to the Iron Maiden! As you know, these incredible bloodthirsty savages have come here today to win the 75th Battle Royale. Only the fittest, quickest, and wisest of champions will win these games. But enough talking, let's meet our competitors. Let's hear it for District 1. Lucha, as you look to your district, they begin beating their fists to their chest, and they are saddled on massively large bears that roar when they were announced. The gold and black flag waves fiercely in the wind as about 50 bear riders parade around the stage. Your comrade walks up to you on stage, pounds his chest, and places a golden bracer on your arm. For this game, it will give you +2 to your strength ability. Please describe what your character looks like and their name.
So my character's name is Coldbone, and he's a half orc, and he's a very bulky, muscular, almost 7 foot tall
Whoa.
half orc with with blue greenish skin, and has a dark war paint in form of a claw painted over his face.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. All right. Well done. Let's hear it for District 2. Ben, as you stand on stage, the amphitheater becomes ominously quiet, yet you embrace it. In the distance, you hear the faint sound of croaking. It grows louder and louder, and soon an unkindness of ravens circle you from above, and a large feather falls softly down towards you. You get +2 to your wisdom ability score. Please describe what your character looks like and their name.
Chasia is a 5 foot 8 inch wood elf who is a member of a quite little known tribe of combat experts known as war dancers.
Ooh.
She is adorned as in the tradition of the war dancer in very little cloth and no armor whatsoever, a large amount of paint all over her body, symbols and pictures that represent um, ancient totems and gods and stories from the wood elf faith. Her hair has been brought up into large, loud spikes in the tradition of the wood elves to be very visually striking, spiked up with wood pitch, and dyed bright red.
It's incredible. Like I could visually see that in my head. Wow. Did you like how I used unkindness of ravens? I googled that for
I
you.
do.
Yeah, that was just for you. I don't know if
Animal,
croaking's
animal
right
group
for a
names are
raven.
awesome. Though. Thank you.
Ah.
2 thumbs up.
I get inspiration. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Encouragement. Yes. Yes.
How mysterious. Those ravens sure know how to keep a crowd wanting more. Am I right? District 3. Brett. Entering from the far left, only the pitter-patter of tiny paws hitting the ground can be heard surrounding the stage. The speed at which they enter throws everyone off guard. The dust from the floor around the stage begins to rise, and you become surrounded by a donut-shaped dense cloud. A beautiful woman, body painted in the likeness of a cheetah, seemingly appears out of nowhere. They place a crown made with the teeth of previously victorious cheetahs around your head. You get advantage on all first attacks that you see coming towards you, and you get a 10 plus to your movement speed. Please describe your character and their name.
John Tenebris, that's not his real name, is a 20-something lithe male with salt and pepper hair. He has longer hair tied into a ponytail, and it's a permanent 5 o'clock shadow with crow's feet. It looks like he hasn't slept in a while. He also wears his scale mail emblazoned with a cheetah, and the maul he wields looks like it is white hot at all times. By his side is a robotic puma named SP4K.exe, or Spark for short.
Which I love. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, that is so awesome. All right. So the host begins to cough, and it's like, okay. District 4. Daquine. The clouds begin to darken and cry down upon the crowd in a fit of icy rain. Randomly, throughout the theater, streams of darkness swirl about the arena. People begin to feel uneasy in their seats and begin shrieking at the hellish sounds that deafen those who are watching. A large swirling orb spins on stage and shatters into a billion pieces. Inside, a small child glides towards you with a heinous smile on their face. They beckon you to bend down towards them. As you lean down, and they bury their hand directly into your chest.
Ow.
And you feel as though you are burning from the inside out. Moments later, they poof into ash with creepy child's laughter, and you breathe them in. You now have the umbral form and resistance to dark magic. Umbral form, for those who don't know, you have resistance to all damage except force and radiant damage, and you can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. You take 5 force damage if you end your turn inside an object. You can remain in this form for 5 turns. It ends early if you're incapacitated, if you die or dismiss as a bonus action, and after you use it once, you must take a long rest to receive it again. So make sure you write all of these down because these are yours for the whole game. And I will add that DAC in the Discord channel for you.
Okay.
If you don't mind, please describe your character and their name.
All right. Well, Daquine is a toned 5'7" Asimar with a distinctive cut on his nose. He has short silver-colored hair and an unkempt beard. He sports a leather jacket with a cloth shirt underneath, with dark pants. Around his belt are a variety of little pouches, on his back is a backpack. Around his neck is a loosely tied handkerchief taken from an old enemy. And on his, down all the way down his right arm are flame tattoos. And on his side is a small, interesting looking staff, maybe 3 feet.
Oh. Why? What makes it interesting? What does it look like? Does it have a symbol
That,
on it?
No, it's looks kind of mechanical. That'll
Cool.
come.
Okay, awesome. So the announcer comes back on stage and is drying their hair after the icy rain that took place, and they kind of look like a wet feather duster at this point. Well, wasn't that nice? District 5. Ryan. The people of your district stand alert and get into formation. They lift a golden palanquin that is covered in an ornate golden snakes that appears to be magically moving. They hiss as they approach the stage and stop. An important announcement comes over the loudspeaker requesting everyone to close their eyes. As you do, you hear the door to the palanquin open up, jewels clinking up the stairs towards you. Loud hissing begins. You feel snakes wriggling about your neck and slithering into your hair, followed by a soft kiss on your cheek. You have resistance to poison damage and can eat poisonous food without any effects. Please describe your character and give a name.
My name is Theodore Celine, and you see him. He a solid black robe. He's got the hood up over it, so at first you don't see it. But after all that, he reaches up with both hands and pulls it back, and you see a very pale, taut young man. His eyes are almost yellow, with and almost have a weird shape to them. Super pale, looks very sickly, but he stands straight and tall, with precision of a soldier.
That's cool. All right. So the loudspeaker comes alive, letting viewers know they can open their eyes. The host looks around, and some of the viewers have turned to stone. Well, while our dome minions help chisel out some of our guests, let's move on to District 6, our final district of the evening. Duval. A dozen large scorpions enter and position themselves strategically about the arena. One scorpion approaches the stage and, just like a transformer, reveals themselves to be a bronze dragonborn. They proudly smile, strap on a Kevlar vest to your chest, and bring you in for the biggest of hugs. You signal to each other goodbye, and you now have a Kevlar vest. While wearing this vest, you are protected against piercing damage, bullets, and force weapons. In the cold, your AC increases by 2. However, in the heat or when soaked in water, your AC drops by 2. All right. So while we were doing our scenes, it looks like we have been we have donations that came through. All right, that's freaking amazing. Truth wants a random potion for one of you, which I love. I love randomness. It's so much fun.
Thanks.
And a random player gets a nat 20, which is awesome. So we will do that once we get closer to the arena. I will write them down. You can't use them right now. All right. So now that you've introduced your characters, you make your way.
I haven't introduced mine yet, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
it's okay.
my God. Yes.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Donation distractions. Yep. Totally cool. No
It's
worries.
not going to last long anyway. So.
All right. Well, we know what
credits he will be known as Man Who Died.
Well, spoilers. We know what district I'm going after first. So you see this itty-bitty halfling-looking creature that actually looks incredibly nervous, and it's just kind of like the loud kind of noise is kind of getting to him a little bit. And he's got like these with the Kevlar kind of slapped on him. He's you actually see wraps all up and down his arms, but weirdly enough naked on his hands. But you do see kind of like he's palming like the back end of and down his, like, I guess, wrist almost, what appears to be some sort of blue wand of some sort that seems to kind of be glowing with some sort of arcane energy. He's clean shaven, but his you would see what his eyes look like, except for the fact that he's got binoculars that are absolute, like he's slamming down, trying to essentially take out some of the loud light, so to speak. And he's got like a kind of a small kind of top. He looks to be balding with a little bit of a little dash of gray at the top, and a large brown bandana that has scorpions, actually scorpions of like beige all around it. And as he walks up the stairs.
That's really cool. Are they like real scorpions on there? Or are they just like the pattern of scorpions?
They do seem to be moving.
Whoa.
Oh, ew.
That's creepy.
That's because that's not creepy at all.
Good. And as he's continuing walking, he just goes, I have to go pee.
Oh no. The host ends the event and asks you to accompany them off stage to celebrate. You make your way across the arena to exit the far left, and while walking down the stone hallway similar to the one you entered in previously, you find yourself in an underground train station. You step aboard and make your way to the back of the mahogany train. The back wall of the train's compartment is just a massive window. There are big couches with fluffy pillows and a buffet that could probably feed about 100 people. Servers are moving about quickly, bringing in food, bubbly libations, and making sure not to get in your way. So here we are. Make yourselves at home, eat, drink, and be merry. There are massage tables and steam rooms down the hall if you desire some relaxation. And there's also a jacuzzi. And she stumbles off in her high heels as the train rocks back and forth a bit. Like, so now this is the time for you guys to sit down with each other, and we get to find out more about your personalities.
Does anyone know where the bathroom is? No?
Theodore looks at him with disdain and goes over towards the food.
Anyone?
The server directs you towards the bathroom down the hall.
Thank you.
Chase, his eyes dart from one person to the next, obviously appraising them carefully, saying nothing.
What about you, Daquine?
I'm already sitting on a couch. I kind of look around, pull out my jacket inside with a flask. Anyone need a drink? Loosen the nerves a little bit. Anyone? Okay.
Evokes a little sneer.
So, hi.
Hello.
What is your character doing, Tengu?
I guess I am in one of the corners, and I'm just trying to tune up my pet to make sure that she doesn't die. I'm just standing around to watching everyone else, just trying to appraise them.
And Lucha?
I'm going to check all my equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, only the items that are obviously seeable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Duval, you find the bathroom?
I do.
After all this time.
We can fade that scene if you're using the bathroom for biological purposes, but if it's more like you had something you wanted to hide or do in there, you can.
So he walks inside, and he's kind of having a tiny bit of a panic attack. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. You should have probably placed this bet, but that's okay. You're here now, and you just do your best, and it's only representing the entire district. It's not that big of a deal. It's totally fine. You're gonna make it. It's fine. And just kind of talking to himself, and then kind of eventually walks back, kind of trilling that line of questioning of himself back to. Does anyone want to see a card trick?
Is it really the time for card tricks?
Theodore goes, this is pathetic.
I have a feeling this is probably the best time for card tricks.
Yeah, I figure. and kind of like shuffles like a kind of a small deck of cards. Pick a card.
Theodore casts Gust of Wind and blows the cards out of his hand.
Oh, and then they go out of his head just as I'm like about to like.
Oh, it's gonna be a long train ride.
Luckily for me, and he like flicks his wrist, and another deck of cards appears. I packed 3 just in case. He does a shuffle again.
Theodore just rolls his eyes and says, "Act like the honor that you have been given. It means something. This is ridiculous," and turns around and walks away, separating himself.
Nice.
Sounds like a fun guy.
TM, which one of these do I roll to identify everyone's hidden weakness? How everybody's revealing themselves. This one?
I have no weakness.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
In the train ride, is there windows we could watch the landscape fly by?
Yeah, the whole back of the train is open, so you can see everything.
Any sort of nice landscapes that you could tell us about?
Well, it's not very pretty, but you do have a lot of gray skies. It looks kind of like an abandoned wasteland. A lot of buildings are defaced and broken down over time. Off and on, it has a tendency to do like an icy rain, but it's a pretty open area to begin with. Eventually,
Theodore goes over to the side by himself, like
Mhm.
sits by himself, and hiddenly, like trying to hide it, he reaches into his robes and he pulls out an old, it looks like it's been folded over and over and over again, and he unfolds it, and it's this battered, old, worn-out photo of a man, of a young boy who looks very similar to Theodore, but a little bit different.
Okay.
And he just looks at it.
Does anybody else see that?
I'll take a look.
He's his favorite person too. It's great. So roll for perception to see if you can see.
I'm like kind of like faking, like I'm like false shuffling, like
This.
natural 20.
Oh, wow.
Why couldn't I have that happen later?
Okay, let's get that luck out of the way.
Yeah, use that up now.
Oh no. No. So
Self-portrait?
So Theodore turns and sees him looking. None of your business, and just a big gust of wind. Just.
Oh no, more
Like,
cards.
So what I need you to do, you're medium-sized, right?
Oh, I'm a halfling, so probably.
Oh, medium or smaller. So
Oh, yeah.
I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Awesome. Let's see. I bet that an 8 won't do it.
No.
Well, no. You get pushed 5 feet away.
Ah!
It, like,
And
slams
quickly he
itself to the
folds it back up
bed.
and puts it inside his robes again.
Observation made.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before we go off this thing?
I'm just picking up now. What is the math? 104 cards.
104 card pickup.
I just kind of murmur to myself, I was just kidding. I didn't really have a third deck. So
Okay, so the train pulls up to this city, and you get off the train station. They unpack all of your bags. They take you to this incredible establishment that has lots and lots of floors of like different. Each floor has something different. This is where you're going to be staying and residing, so your rooms are there. There's also places to party. There's spas. Anything you can think of. It's very, very rich looking. Anything that you may need during your time while you are here, they will make sure that you have it. There is a party in the evening that will take place. And then in the morning, you have to then wake up and then you have to do your physical test. So, is there anything you will need for tonight before tomorrow begins for the physical test? Anything you want to buy? Anybody you want to see, talk to?
What are the shops got? What do they? That's not even correct English. Like, you get my point.
They got
What they got?
The shops are geared towards everything that's going to be happening in the dome. So you have, equipment that you may need to keep yourself warm or cold, or survival gear that you might find. You can also go to the weapon shop to get explosives, or you may have something like a weapon of choice that you may want to add that you may not have brought with you, that kind of thing.
And a Cinnabon.
And a Cinnabon.
Do they have healing potions?
They do have healing potions, yes.
Yep.
I would like to
That
note
is what I'm going.
I'd like to note as I walk by the Cinnabon, it smells so delicious. I can just feel my arteries harden just by smelling it.
You want one.
They're
Want one.
poisonous.
Yeah.
You want an
Yum.
$8 cinnamon roll? Yes, you do.
A cinnamon roll the
It's
size of my
this
head.
big. Yes.
If I buy Cinnabon, will it give me like extra speed because of the sugar rush I'll get from it?
No, but you'll thoroughly enjoy it while you eat it.
It may help you avoid fatigue tomorrow. It's carbo loading,
That's
You know
true.
what?
right?
I like your
Like a marathon
I
training.
like that. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to carb up on 3 Cinnabons.
Yeah,
I
are
like
you
the
gonna
way
wrap
you
them
think.
up and then like put them in your combat bag? Is that what's gonna go tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat one now and save the other 2 for tomorrow.
They may get a little crunchy, but they still taste good.
Oh yeah, a little tough, but that's okay.
Yep, it's all right.
And what about Theodore's character? You wanted to look into health potions, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, health potions. That's the
As
main
do
thing.
I, definitely.
So you kind of want to picture it like a fancy mall of sorts, and just like each individual room has like something different that you would shop in. And you walk in, and all the shelving's made of glass. Even like the front where the cashier is standing at is just made of all glass. It's almost like you're afraid to touch things. Like she's currently wiping down the counter, and on each shelf are all different types of potions, poisons. Oh my god, I can't even speak. Poisons. Anything you can think of in a liquid form would be located in this place. So, if for your potions, are you looking for perhaps like a small healing potion, large healing potion?
Well, remind me, you said we had how much money?
So they give you about 200 gold each for all of you.
Okay.
You can spend
So
it.
the main things I'm looking for then are just the basic healing potion. And I want some poisons. Only poisons I can put on crossbow bolts.
Ooh. Okay. So let me look up. I didn't pull my list down. Okay, so for health potions, they do have 3 small health potions that you can take with you on your journey.
Okay.
And what kind of
How much is that going to
poison?
cost?
That would be 50 gold.
Per? Or all?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And what type of poisons do they have?
So they have all different types. Is there a particular thing that you want it to do in particular? Do you
Paralyze people.
Oh my gosh. Wow, we don't mess around on this one at all. Yes. So they do have one they have one, each one, it costs 100 gold.
right, so I'll buy 1 potion of or poison of paralyze,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 healing potions.
Okay, you got it.
I've got the other healing potion.
All right. Anything else anybody else wants to buy? Something they might be interested in?
I'll take 2 potions of healing. And
As I should probably do myself.
So the potions, they already took the remaining.
oh, they're gone. Oh, okay.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
were
Oh.
they were not an unlimited use. It's not a vending
Exactly.
machine.
Okay.
That,
That's good to know.
I thought we had technology. No.
What about mass production?
Not a thing. Not a thing
Another
here.
thing. What do I want to do? Do you happen to have any potions of heroism by chance?
Oh, so what does that do? Is that actually?
It's I think it's like 10 hit points and like maybe it's like advantage on wisdom saves, something like that.
I must have it up on. It just says it's a rare item that did absolutely nothing.
Well,
Thank you.
while
Ron.
everybody is still shopping, Theodore kind of wants to like try and blend
Oh, it's a
into
blessed spell.
the
Yes, we do have a potion of heroism.
blend into the crowd so that nobody can see him, but he's watching what everybody's buying.
This is
Okay.
exactly my strategy.
Same
Same with
Yeah.
the, as much like in the train ride, anything that she can pick up that would give an indication as to someone's tendencies, the way they think, the way that maybe they plan to fight, already noticing somebody buying some poison, etc.
Okay. So it's Will Yorn, right? Duval, that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, what is my name? We're Lauren. Yeah.
Willorn. All right, so Willorn, yes, we do have a potion of heroism.
Oh, all right. How much is it?
50 gold pieces.
Oh, do you have 2?
We have to, yes. Mhm.
All right, I'll take 2.
All right. Okay, you're good.
Awesome. What about in like something like stealthy or visibility, perhaps?
No, unfortunately, we don't have potions for those.
Okay. Any other ones that might be interesting?
We do have a lot of poisons available.
Oh, it's not really my style, but sure.
So we have different types of poisons. What do you want it to do exactly? You want it to explode?
I feel like that would be the how do I put it, the most, considering I have to be here, so I might as well. It might as well. Sure. It should be like exciting, right? There's like a crowd and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it does help you. Your sponsors will appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Are they here? Are they? Okay.
They're not here, but you'll see them tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess their opinion doesn't matter right now. So how much is that?
Yeah, so it's 50 gold pieces.
Oh, all right. That'll be the last 2 things that I have then.
Okay, you got it.
Awesome. 6. And then walks away.
6. All right, so Theodore, so you know the poison that you have, it needs to be in contact with the person in some way, shape, or form. And Willorn, for yours, it can actually be inhaled. So they have to sniff it in order for it to work.
Okay. Good to know.
I would also like to see if I can find some throwing knives.
Oh, okay. So you make your way down past the potion shop, and when you walk in, you do see somebody is sharpening blades at the front. On the wall, it's just like a whole bunch. It's a whole armory of itself, just all different types of swords, daggers, and knives that you may like of your choosing.
Okay. I would like to do I like to pick up. I don't know how much would the standard small throwing knives be? Do you know?
How many did you want?
Let's see. Let's shoot 4.
Okay, so for 4 of them, it would be 75 gold.
Okay.
And they're pretty small.
Okay. Let's see.
And they do 1d4 damage if that helps, and they're piercing.
Yep, I have these stats right here. We are good. All right. All right, and I think that will be good for me.
Okay, how about Lucha? Anything for you? You want to buy? Or you are the bear. We do not need to shop.
Actually, I'm just looking for some good ale, and that's it.
Okay. All right. So they don't have ale shops here, but at the party in the evening, there will be plenty, and it's unlimited and free.
Oh yes, yes. By all means, get yourself a nice hangover.
I fight better with a hangover.
That's exciting.
Sounds like
That's
my kind of guy.
Lucha just bringing a keg into the dome.
Yeah. Or you know those,
What is this cat?
yeah, you know those hats, those drinking hats, the one hat, and you have 2 cans.
It's like a bear head that sits on it and just has it. That'd be great. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. All right, and John, aka Brett.
Okay. I was looking to see if there's any cold weather clothing or some sort of other survival items like rope or a lighter.
So when you created your character, did you already have rope with yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of did all that, but I wanted to like.
Okay. They do have things that you can soak rope in that may grant it more additional power. So, maybe resistance to being cut, or, if it's, wet, you can still climb with it, things like that, if you wanted to do that. For cold weather, they do have like different jackets, robes, they have cloaks and things like that you could equip. Nothing like the Kevlar vest that's being used. That is definitely something that's specific to that district.
Okay.
But anything you would find, like a Dick's Sporting Skin kind of thing, you could even get as well.
Okay. Yeah, then I think I'm good then.
Okay. You don't want to buy anything from there?
No.
Okay. You got it. All right. Everybody set? Perfect.
Well, as set as we're going to be.
Okay.
I was going to interact with Duval, but he left. I was going to pick on him some more.
Well, there's still time.
Yeah.
So you go up to your rooms and you take all of the things that you bought. Duval is back if you want to talk to them.
Okay. So when Willorin was leaving the potion shop, I wanted to trip him.
Okay.
I got back right after I timed it. Perfect.
It's a shame you were going to be at disadvantage if you weren't there. You're back, I mean. Okay, go ahead. Roll a d20.
That is an 18 on the die.
All right, and Duval, you want to see if you can see it, so do a perception check.
Sure. That's actually pretty good. That's really good.
But is it better?
It is. It's a 19.
Oh.
Actually, no. Sorry. That's a 27.
That's a bit of a big difference. Yeah. I don't know.
Whoops.
Okay.
I suck at math. 24. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So you see what with your leg? Is that how you're going to trip them?
Yeah, I was going to try and trip him with my leg.
Okay. So you see like this leg stick out. What do? Because you avoided it.
So I didn't see you initially, right? And suddenly there's just a leg. So I just kind of look at it, hop over.
And then Theodore stomps off.
Oh, no. It begins.
Oh, no. Grudge match, everyone. Grudge match. Those 2 guys will take care of themselves. No biggie. I'll just make sure I hide somewhere during the match.
My character is a bully, and he just latched on to the smallest person he could find.
Perfect. I'm so hyped for this.
Very, very nice. Okay, so you make your way back to your hotel rooms, you unpack everything, and now it comes to this amazing gathering where a lot of the sponsors are going to be there interacting with each other. They get to know you much better. So it's really important to impress them during this time because their donations are actually going to help you while you are competing in the dome. So it definitely first appearances are definitely very important for this event. Is there anything in particular? You're going to be dressed up very fancy for this event. You can describe how you want to look for it because your character's personality might be a little bit different. And if you're bringing anything with you for this.
And this is just a meet and greet?
Mm-hmm, correct.
I just imagine that I have the same type of stuff on that I had on the way there, but like maybe just a little fancier, like instead of having like a $15 jacket, it would be like a $200 jacket, that kind of thing. Just same kind of thing, but just a little bit more fancy.
Okay, cool. Anything you're bringing with you in particular?
To
maybe impress somebody with?
Just my flask.
Okay. Impressive flask. I like it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because on the side it has cool designs and stuff on it, and it has it's covered in leather, and it has like a symbol etched within the leather itself is like this signia of like fire on it.
That's cool. I would drink out of it.
That's what I. And that's what I'm doing.
All right. What about you, John? AKA Brett.
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting that's my name.
No worries.
I would be wearing some sort of tabard with the kind of like a cog with the cheetah, like our district symbol emblazoned on it, and I would be bringing my Puma Spark with me just to show off the almighty technology of District 3.
I wish I could see it. It sounds so cute. I love it. I'm going to protect it with my life as a DM. And what about you, Lucha? Get ready to party.
I'm wearing nothing fancy, just my complete battle gear.
Okay.
With my great axe on the back.
Cool. And a big keg, so you can fill up everything that you want at the party.
I know.
I don't have one.
I was gonna say, if you did have the keg, I would have been hanging around you the whole time. Once my flask is empty, just sneak behind you.
All right. And what about you, Lorne?
So, exactly the same thing he was wearing earlier. He did not put two and two together from a impress the sponsors perspective. From that, but he's he's like looking around specifically for one person, and I imagine.
Is it Theodore?
It is not actually. He's looking for whoever is the biggest out of all of the districts. I'm going to assume it's Coldbone.
Lucha, yep.
Okay. And he's going to walk right up to you, all keg and all. Can I talk to you for a second?
Okay.
As I imagine you just going like, "Can I talk to you?"
Yeah, you're right.
Down there.
Oh. So, I feel like everyone's kind of very individual, and that's fine and stuff. But I was wondering if you wanted to make an alliance. You big, me small. Perfect.
Are you trying really hard to whisper right now?
It's a private conversation.
Ben's character's just like invincible in a room, like what?
Anyway, think about it. Final two. And let's go.
Coldbone just shakes his head.
Oh no. Oh, it's just so sad. Denied.
I just want to be wanted.
That was a smackdown if I ever saw one.
It sure was.
Yeah. All right, Ben, what about you? What are you doing?
Chasia is still okay. So she shows up. She put on an additional wrap, just covered up a little bit more. Sort of out of respect for the event. Nothing terribly fancy though. Still traditional garb, which I presume to most of the folks looks pretty loud and tribal, as it were. And really, yeah, just sort of it's eye catching. Everything that war dancers adorn themselves with, particularly during the dance, i.e. fighting, is very loud and attention grabbing. As far as what she's doing, she is mingling about, really continuing just to observe. The district's about perception. She's been a moment of meta. She's really a merc, not a lifelong member of that district, but is very, very compelled, as are all, to win this competition. And she's sizing up her competition. She's looking for any tendencies in their conversation. She's looking to pick up hints about what their strategies might be. She's looking even at their physical movements, see which hand do they prefer when they pick up their glasses. Do they
Wow.
move with any limps, or are there any, trying to identify any points of weaknesses in their bodies, or maybe pains and aches that they might have, etc.
This is incredible. Wow. Okay. So roll a perception check.
Awesome. Dice. That's gonna be a 21.
21. Wow. Very impressive. Okay, Wildorn, if you could roll a die to see just how quiet you were about your conversation with Coldbone.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good Lord. I love this dice so much today. That would be a 23.
Okay. So you do not hear their
Wisdom good.
You do not know that they're trying to build this
Gotcha.
alliance of some kind. Theodore, what are you doing at this time?
All right, so Theodore arrives late.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren is already talking to trying to make his alliances, and suddenly, with a gust of wind, the door flies open, and in floating about 2 feet off the ground, you see Theodore come flying in. He's wearing just a straight black tunic,
Mm-hmm.
think of like a Jedi, really tight fitting.
Mm-hmm.
He has beautiful rings on, and up in the upper left corner of his tunic, there is a symbol. It's a military symbol of honor from his district. And he flies halfway in, and then disappears in a puff of smoke, and reappears right next to the drinks.
Wow.
Making a big hoopla about it.
Well, there's not something that the person's
You
going to
weren't
miss.
really trying to hide that, right? You wanted to make an entrance. Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to make an entrance.
Very cool. So the room oohs and ahs over what happened, and they find it super mysterious, and they're now trying to inquire about you as more who is this adventurer? What is happening?
I know how to play the game.
Is there anyone in the room who talks like they know this person or of their background? Are there any people from the district or with knowledge of the district who would know Theodore and would say, "Oh, you know what he is," etc.?
So nobody knows of them specifically, because these are volunteers from the district, and anybody could have volunteered at any time. There's only people who know specific information about the districts itself. Okay.
Just basic oohs and ahs at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, so Theodore is a war hero, right? So they might know a little bit about it. Now,
Okay.
whether or not those stories of that are told in his district are true, or if it's just buildup that was made, you don't know that. It's just that's why he's got that honorary award. I also forgot. I mean, I don't know the setting, so I don't know if there's any wars that have been fought recently. But whatever type of trophy is hanging from his belt from that war.
Okay. So what is like a story that they may know? So that way, when they're inquiring about it around the area to try to figure out like who the weaknesses are and things like that, what is it something that they might know about you?
So during a specific battle, he saved the day or saved the battle by pushing forward, but he abandoned his fellow soldiers. So
And there's no way to determine whether that's true or not. That's just something that's been heard, right?
There's no way to determine if that's true or not.
Okay.
That's just like rumors that people have said.
Okay. All right. And John, aka Brett.
I would like to go up to Theodore, and I will take out my smithy hammer that I've had under my tabard, and I will tap a glass and hand it to Theodore. It emits a odor mostly like brimstone, almost like a fart. You're a murderer. And I walk away.
Ew.
Oh. Oh.
Now there's a
shade.
smackdown.
Wow.
Literally.
I was expecting this.
Tim's
I
hot
just love how you just put it out there like that. Love it.
Well, I was going to tell that to everyone, but I mean, one at a time.
You're a killer. Bye.
So the people in the room are then kind of like talking to each other, like, what just happened? What's going on? You're like,
And I look him dead in the eyes and say, I know, and drink the liquid.
It can't make it taste weird. I could only make it smell weird.
It was wine the whole time.
Gotcha.
All right. Now, Lucha, there are servers who are rolling in barrels of various meads and beers that you might be interested in, because anything that you guys want, you will get. So they're now bringing it up and lining them up on the table, all these different options in these massive barrels, so that you can have whatever you would like.
And I'm one of the first people over there.
Yeah, me too. and I want to keep an eye out for Villarin after I saw Theodore entering like he did.
Okay. Like in a protective kind of way?
Yeah, I want to see what happens.
Okay.
If something happens.
And are you drinking large quantities of beverages?
Yeah. Besides that,
fisting me in the corner, watching Willorn. That's good.
And I'm not going very far away from him.
Okay.
I want to be close. Stay close. Whatever.
Hanging out.
if something happens.
I'd love to see that hug because of the height difference. That's amazing. Just hold the hands out like, come here. Bring it in. No, okay. So Daquine, now you're heading over to the mead table also. What are you doing?
I'm just sampling each and every beer and ale and everything, as well as, now, I kind of feel that, my thing is a little empty, so I'm just gonna kind of fill it up a little bit to the brim, kind of put it back in there, and just keep drinking a little bit here and there, just watching for people, because a little paranoid about people.
Theodore.
Considering
You can say it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Theodore specifically. Well, at least number one paranoid target.
All right. Anything else people want to do with the sponsors while they're here at the party, or are we good to go?
So while everybody else is enjoying, drinking, enjoying, talking to each other, I am completely ignoring all the other contestants,
Okay.
and I am schmoozing. I am schmoozing like there is no other. I am,
You best pick up a die right now.
my oh, I got it. Trust me, I got some
Is that
persuasion.
warm? You got that thing warm
I got some
in your hand?
persuasion
All right.
right
Okay,
here.
okay. All right. I like to hear some schmoozing.
All right, so I'm like,
Schmooze
There
away.
you go. There you go.
so I go, my district is known for its champions, and I am no different. We will walk away the victors, don't you doubt. And he just starts like listing out all the great winners of previous ones, all the dome fights that were done, that we've won and that we've just dominated in. So.
Oh, you seem very confident.
Well, and I kind of just look over at all the other. It would have been nice to have, challenge.
Oh boy!
Oh, I see how it is.
Oh, does anybody hear that?
I'm gonna get a little side eye out of you.
I do not try and hide it. No hiding. Nothing.
Yeah.
Roll for persuasion.
I will do the thing as well.
I just imagine me just like looking right at him, like.
Well, my dice has said no more. That's an 8.
That's a 24 on my persuasion.
All right, I am persuaded by your groveling. Okay. And Lauren, you rolled to be persuasive for who?
Oh no, that was what you said. You mentioned if anyone's listening, and I tried to and rolled an 8, so probably not. But I will say that for anyone that will listen, I will kind of begin to have a different strategy in mind. So you see, it was a 50% chance that I wasn't going to be here. I actually lost a card game back home, and me and my buddy Zeke, and we didn't really go well for me. But I freaked out and I kind of lost it for a little bit. But everyone loves an underdog, and I'd love to have your support and take out all the people that are good, bad, and ugly. Except for maybe the half-orc guy. I kind of like him, so I'll save him for last. But you get the idea. So it'd be great to have your support. So thanks.
Okay.
So ghost. Oh yeah, scorpions.
That voice really carries.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
It does. So roll persuasion.
Sure. He's not really good at this. Okay, that is a 2.
Oh wow! Oh,
no, a 3. Yay!
No, so people kind of just look at you, and this girl with a fan is just like, and just kind of walks off. However, there is one person who remains. I love card tricks.
Do you?
I do. I would love to see what you have.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
And he right? Spreads it, spans the cards out.
That's amazing. Okay, and I pick one.
And
I'd like to cast a subtle spell of wind.
Oh God, not again.
Subtle.
Would that I think that's just what they call a breeze.
Yes. Indoors, of course. So what happens with the breeze?
So are you casting an actual spell, or are you just blowing on the
Yeah,
card?
gust.
Okay, go ahead.
Gust.
And what is it?
So I can
prevent that from happening, or it just happens?
So I can create a small blast of air capable of moving one object that is neither held nor carried, or I can move one medium or smaller creature 5 feet. So.
Also, same spells earlier.
So you're moonwalking back while you're with the cards.
Sometimes things don't go as planned. But even if it's someone that, he just doesn't really like me. I think he may.
It's a subtle spell. You guys.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I would have to imagine though. It's happened 3 times. Twice I know who it was. I think I kind of.
You probably know.
I think I'm pretty. She does it, but I do, and so I point. I point.
But you can't prove it. Who did it though?
I can't. I actually think he might be threatened by my magic tricks, so he's literally not letting me do them. Mm-hmm. But I tell you what. Flip the card over.
So I look at it,
and it's like a ace of spades or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll sign it for you, and it'll be worth something. And I take a pen and I just kind of sign it.
Thanks.
But hey, when I win, you can sell that and buy this whole thing.
Yes, that's exactly what I'll do with this.
You sound so convinced.
No. And then off.
I appreciate your honesty. Bye.
Well done, everyone.
You don't know how hard you're making it for me to be a jerk, Devon.
I do though. I really do. I really do.
I think this whole thing, the event's going to take place a day earlier because of all the issues.
Yeah, let's just go in, right?
It'll be right now.
All right. Any other chances people want to take while they're here?
I'm gonna go eat a bunch of cheese and meat.
Oh. Throw my sorrows and cheese.
He's trying not to like hold it on his face, but he's just like, oh
no.
My feelings.
But is he lactose intolerant?
Oh no. Do you have a spell
What
to make that happen?
What do I roll? I was gonna say, what do I roll for lactose intolerance?
I think that would be a con.
That's a con. Yep.
Yeah. So what? Like a con save? What do we think, everyone?
I feel like it's like, I don't know, nature. Like
con save with an advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. It's actually not too bad. Okay. So con save, right?
Because I think he's hardy.
He's fairly hardy. That's a 20. Not natural, but 30. Oh, mom.
So back to the gust. The unusual gust of wind indoors. DM, may I do an Arcana check to maybe try to identify what type of magic it is that somebody was using there?
Is it like a detect magic spell?
No,
it's like a skill check.
It's a skill check. It's,
I'm
I'm pretty sure somebody manufactured wind indoors here, and I think it was one of these people who was right nearby. I'd like to know who it was, and maybe I know like what kind of magic or what lane that magic would come from. Maybe it gives me a little something.
Okay, you go.
And that's 16.
Okay, and Theodore, if you can roll for like stealth to see if it was hidden when you did it. Since you said you were doing it on the side so that he can determine where it came from.
Yeah, I was using one of my sorcery points to cast it as a subtle spell.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't very subtle, it looks like. So that's a 7 on my stealth.
Okay, so you do see it. And what is some information that they would know about your spell?
With an Arcana check, I'd probably say it's a transmutation spell.
Okay. Perfect. I love all the notes being taken right here in the screen. Well done. I want to see the notes at the very end and show it off. Maybe we can even raffle it off as like a donation prize.
Yeah, we donate off all of our all the character sheets.
Yeah,
you hate to see it.
Dream of notiousness is what that is. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
I would like to take out my hammer again. I'm gonna pick up a fork from one of the tables, and I'm going to tap the fork with my hammer, and sparkles like a sparkler comes out of the fork. Willorin, I'd like to give this to you because I feel like a lot of people are picking on you. So
Oh.
I hope this kind of cheers you up. It just kind of like glitters and like sparkles.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that. You want an alliance too?
Sure. Don't kill me. I won't kill you.
Deal.
All right.
Like a hand outstretched.
Don't leave me hanging.
Are you guys trying to be stealthy about making this alliance, or is this open?
I do not even have the possibility.
I will high five you.
Okay.
I guess I'm seeing that.
Okay. So Ben, your character, you want to roll for perception to see if you saw that?
22.
Yes. Okay. So you did see them make an alliance.
There was a glow around us as it connected. It's like Persona, it's a social link.
Yes, and
Well, I
now
do
whenever
believe
you're close
Lauren
together,
really
you
did need a
glow.
buddy there, and obviously this Casey wanders by saying, "Will you be ostracized from your district when you lose?"
Yes.
I won't have a district to go back to if I lose. So
Hmm.
Are you having that
Theodore
conversation?
chuckles.
This could be a good time.
Oh, he must be the District 3 person.
And everybody goes,
Sorry.
Oh, no.
someone has to stand up for the people being murdered here.
Did you lose a bet too?
No, no one wanted to stand up for the freedom of our district.
Oh. That makes me sad. I'm sorry.
Is your character crying?
No.
I wasn't sure if that's what
I
that
was just
or
like,
if it was an
I got a thing in my eye.
A little bit of dust. Roll for dust.
Yeah, that like wind kicked up some dust. I'm just like,
What
But
a
did
bunch
you-
of dishonorable pukes.
So did you
Jeez.
want to talk about your district just so that the sponsors know where you're coming from? Because as far as they know that your district's not doing so well, so they may not want to bet towards you.
sure. I will tell everyone that I didn't come here of my own accord per se. I came here because I had to. I found out during some spy work that the district management has been taking money from the other districts and losing on purpose. They're doing it so that they could spread the fear for the other districts and to point at them and say, like, you don't want to be like them, do you? So really, if you all want to collaborate on us losing and murdering a bunch of people of my district, then fine. But if you want to do the right thing and actually be honorable, then you should sponsor me.
All right, roll for persuasion.
Okay.
I agree.
Although I'm already really persuaded, but
18 minus 1 is 17.
okay. Yes, people are starting to think about what you are saying and starting to have doubt and are kind of leaning towards you, but they're not sure how they feel because there's a lot of other competitors, but it is looking good. Darkness.
Yes.
My darkness.
So it sounds like the start of a poem.
You have
Oh,
to
yes,
do
it does.
A constitution
Spoilers.
saving throw.
Leaves of grass.
You have to do a constitution saving throw.
Oh, Constitution, you say?
Mhm.
All right. What is my con?
We
All
the
right.
people.
Did you also eat too much cheese?
Maybe I ate too many when I was drinking. That would be that'd be a 13.
Okay. So you are intoxicated.
That's why the room is spinning. Oh.
That's why it's sitting. You've had so much, in fact, you're intoxicated for at least 2 hours.
It'll be a good 2 hours though.
Yeah.
I'm making friends with everybody.
Yeah. Even those you're competing against.
Sure.
No.
Hey,
Right on. Okay, well, we'll be taking advantage of that situation.
what a sparkly fork.
Once about the time that Chasia realizes that Daquine is probably not going to recall any conversation that we would have had last night, she'll go ahead and start poking for information.
Okay. What would be your first question?
How do you intend to win?
By poking people until they die from it.
That seems like a pretty good drunk explanation. Yeah.
It does. It does. And that tells me a little something.
You won't know till the end when we give away the form that is going on there. Stay tuned.
Yep. Poking people, making them cry a little bit, and then letting them rest.
What is your weapon? It's
that, my friend, that's a trade secret. and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just actually vomit all over her shoes.
Ooh.
Okay.
All
All right. That's good. That's nice. She's not shocked. That did not come as a huge surprise.
No, I
so
hope
there's
it
that.
was worth it for you.
And now I'm really hungry now.
Oh my goodness.
You're gonna be so dehydrated.
Oh yeah.
Poor warrior.
All right. So you finish the party and you make your way up. Daquine is having a
Real quick.
Yeah.
So if John makes this big display about honor and all this stuff,
yeah,
Theodore the rest of the night is going to be like trying to discredit him.
Okay.
He's going to try and show that this is the babblings of a weak and inferior district, trying to make excuses for the losses that they've had, and to all the sponsors. If Theodore sees the sponsors starting to get swayed his way, he's definitely going to try and sway it back his way.
Okay. Roll for persuasion.
That's a 16.
That's 16. Okay, so that does not succeed. I have a 19. So in fact, it goes the opposite way and is more towards John's side.
Okay.
Thanks.
I would like to try something.
Okay.
To finish the party. First, do I have to make a con save too?
How much did you drink?
Much, very much.
Yes, yes, you do, my friend.
21.
Oh no, you're doing just fine, my friend. You can handle it. Yeah, you're feeling pretty good right now.
So I'm gonna slam down my Mark Stein, whatever, and I wanna try to take a keg and throw it as far as I can into an empty corner. And with a much louder voice, I'm going to say strength prevails everything before I do it.
Nice.
And yeah.
Oh, I
That's
love that you took my description.
Is that a strength check?
To throw? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 22.
Okay. So you managed to throw it and then it just shatters against the wall into like these broken wooden pieces that are there. And everybody's attention. They're all looking at you when you make this announcement.
And I'm just gonna start drinking again.
Okay. done.
I lean over to whoever is next to me. I really like him.
So you're vouching for them?
Oh no, just really like just a note. Just a
I
simple
don't want to help
note.
him along. I'm just saying.
And I'm like, Warloran, that could be you.
I like him right back in the middle of what before. It's a neutral. John has a point.
Here's the point.
And also he didn't say yes to my alliance, so.
I'd just like to say thank you for your donations. We really appreciate it.
We're going to. Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before the chance passes, this is very intentional. Now that some people have vomited on other people, etc., been blabbering, yada yada, in sort of quick order after the display of strength and the comment that strength trumps everything. I'd like DM for you to suggest me. Here's what I have in mind. It would be an acrobatics, or depending on acrobatic skill, to Chase, you obviously didn't bring any weapons to this, not carrying any weapons at this function, but maybe there are a lot of like dishes or something like that. Maybe there's a serving tray. Maybe what she does is manages to grab a tray and do like a real feat of acrobatics, right? Does a somersault, throws the tray up in the air, catches the tray on her foot while balancing on one hand, and then catch a glass on the tray. You know what I mean? Something very, very sort of in direct response to the comment of how strength is everything.
Right.
So that maybe if she pulls it off, which she might not, she would answer, "Is it though?"
Okay. Can you do
All
a
right.
performance check?
Performance check?
It's kind of like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man when he catches all the food on the tray.
Unless you're going for more of like, are you trying to prove
I'm talking
dexterity?
serious acrobatics here. I'm talking
okay.
about
So
bending and
acrobatics check, yeah.
twirling and tumbling and
Cirque du Soleil kind of stuff.
that's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like
Okay.
absolutely, yes.
I just picture you
Balance
hanging from
and
the
complete.
curtains.
No, she's yes. And to answer the question that the last performer got, she's had 0 bits of alcohol to drink. A little green
Nice.
tea. She prefers to remain very alert. So acrobatics. Son of a bitch. 17. That's a 25.
Okay. Yes. So, explain. If you can explain to me one of the things that you do, you can win inspiration at this point.
She threw, say, 3 or 4 mugs into the air, grabbed a tray, did a double back flip, landed on her back, threw the tray onto her feet while laying on her back, and caught the tumblers on the tray with her feet. And none of them spilled. None of them fell off.
Nice. Very nice. Just because you showed your feet on stream to just give us the visual.
Nice.
You have
That's
an inspiration
inspirational.
die.
I think
Yes, it was
that's
very
the first on this
inspirational.
channel.
It's actually the second that I've seen feet.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Yes, yes.
That's the third time.
Ryan was the first.
Well,
one.
I'd love to have a record of
So
some
for
kind.
those who are watching inspiration die for this event, they can either use it for advantage for themselves, advantage for another player, or disadvantage for another player.
Yay.
All the
Have
things.
that. So some of our donations, Mountain Girl donated $20 to give a nat 20 to Ryan. So
Why?
make sure you write that down, and we want to use that whenever you want to use it. Actually, be free. All right. So Truth donated to have some random fun.
Uh-oh.
So when you leave this event, you all go to your hotel rooms, you unpack, and it is the night. Is there anything randomly fun you would do for this donation overnight? Something you would tease each other with, scare each other?
I would. Is our hotel rooms near each other?
Yes, you were all in the same hall.
Okay. As we're walking, so like badly timed, I'm doing it anyway. So as we're walking, I got a little bit of meat in me, and so maybe a little bit of courage is happening, and I'm starting to begin to think about the erroneous disrespect that Theodore has been paying me. And as he's continuing to have conversations with sponsors,
Mm-hmm.
just sometime during whenever that's happening, I'm going to cast silence on him.
Okay. And this is on who specifically?
Oh, this is on Theodore, 150,000%. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, just like he begins to kind of stew a little bit. It's just like, no weakness. It's not. We're not allowed to. You have to survive. So, and I kind of raise my wand, and I'm like, and I kind of put it behind my back, and then incantation, and then cast it.
Nice.
So, a wisdom save. I believe my memory is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? I don't remember.
You said silence?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
No. For the duration,
silence.
no sound.
Yeah.
It's 20 feet around me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is completely silent.
Yeah. So I'm gonna essentially for just a 10-minute period, I'm gonna continue to make sure that no one can hear him for as long as I can.
Okay.
Did he can I see him do this?
I
know silence, so
yeah, sure.
I know silence, so
but I tried to hide it, so you know.
Well, you can roll stealth to see if you hit it.
Yeah, sure.
And then Theodore, you can roll perception to see if you
Oh my god, I love this dice. So stealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 21.
Okay. So you do
you got it.
Mm-hmm. Well done.
So as I try and talk and smooth and nothing's coming out now, none of the people around me can talk either. It's a 20-foot circle. So I know that spell, so I'm
because
like,
they're a little like worried that they can't talk.
Walk away from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they think you're casting it.
Mm-hmm. And then after I get frustrated from what he did, I will walk to the center, right in front of the door, but kind of in the center of the room. At the time, making sure that there are no sponsors or civilians within 10 feet of me. And I will cast, let me see if I can do this in silence or not. I was going to make an exit too. God dang it.
If it helps, I'm not sorry at all.
Oh no.
I love you though.
Oh no, I brought this on.
Yeah, you did.
I brought this in. I talked so much crap. Oh. Let's see. Where is it? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use my subtle spell. I'm going to use a sorcery point to cast it as a subtle spell. And I'm going to cast Thunderstep.
Okay.
So I just Thunderstep out of the room. And for 300 feet, everybody hears this loud boom as I go flying out of the room.
Wow. But
nobody can be within 10 feet of me, otherwise I take damage.
Oh no!
That's why I made sure.
Making your way through. Okay.
That's why I made sure that nobody was within 10 feet.
Okay, so people start to flee because sometimes they can't hear themselves speak when they're around you, and they can tell that obviously something is wrong, and they don't know what is going on with the thundering booms. So that then ends the party.
But do they hear it though?
Why?
If they're within the silence, they wouldn't hear it.
Right.
If they were outside of the silence,
they would.
They would hear it.
So everybody would have heard it then. Okay, cool.
Right.
Just curious.
So the chaos between the two, yeah, freaking people out a little bit.
Perfect.
What an exit.
Perfect.
Okay, so you make your way back to your rooms. You put, you change back into all of your gear and whatnot. The next morning, comes along. And now this is the time to show off your physical prowess or to show off your strengths of some kind for the sponsors. So you then enter this gymnasium, and above there's like a balcony where everybody is sitting and they're kind of looking down at what is going on in the situation. They're just eating and indulging and just kind of watching things. So this is your chance to impress them with a spell that you might have, or maybe the way that you shoot or throw axes. You can do anything you want to try to impress the judges. And because it was overnight, you're well rested, so your spells would be back to where they were.
You might have a
So is there-
hangover though.
No, I didn't drink.
Man.
I didn't drink. I drank water.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Darkness, on the other hand.
Right?
I know how to play
Who's got a
this
kitty?
game.
How
Who's got a kitty? Kitty, kitty, kitty,
How
kitty.
about con save to
That was
see
my kitty.
how bad I feel?
That sounds good. Okay.
Let's see. What was
Fair.
my con again? It was all right. Okay, that's not horrible. Since I drink probably quite a lot, I got an
kitty.
18. Oh, it's
Okay.
a kitty.
So
Oh my
you're
goodness, I
feeling
love
okay.
cats.
In fact, I feel a little bit more energized than usual.
Nice. Very cool.
You know,
There's
you are what we call in the business a high functioning alcoholic.
All right. So let's start with Theodore. What would you do to impress the judges?
So there's dummies around and all that.
Yeah, anything that you want. There's dummies, targets, weights.
Okay, so the
things you can
first
climb.
the first thing I would like to do is I will cast vitriolic sphere. I point at a target within 150 feet of me,
Okay.
and a glowing ball of emerald acid streaks and explodes in a 20-foot radius, causing 10d4 acid damage,
Wow.
or 10d4 and an additional 5d4 each round or on the next round. So it
Okay.
basically melts these things away, just bad.
Okay.
That's the first thing I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to fly up. Make sure I have enough spells to do this. All right. I'm going to fly up because I'm going to cast fly on myself
Mm-hmm.
and keep my concentration on my fly. And then I am going to cast lightning lure.
Mm-hmm.
I lash out at one of the dummies, a lightning energy that strikes at it, and then it pulls it towards me and takes lightning damage as soon as it gets close.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will use gust again to push it back, and just like over and over to each one, like this. Basically, this lightning whip's just coming out, wrapping around them, pulling them towards me, and then I'm pushing them away, moving to the next one. Lightning whip towards me, move away as I fly across the battlefield. And then I will land and finish it with I'll start waving my hands around,
Mm-hmm.
and a hypnotic pattern appears above me. Just for a moment. And then everybody who sees it needs to make a wisdom saving throw, or they're charmed by me.
Oh. So since all of
Oh, you mean us, like all of us.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay.
How charming. Get it? Okay.
And what do we have to roll?
Wisdom saving throw.
Oh, this is not a good. This is. I hope this was a one-time thing. I got a 1. I got.
There's a
Sorry.
one-time thing,
It was
You were
a
like
critical-
in love with what happened.
I like it
My
out.
favorite thing.
Best thing.
So-
ever.
Everybody
16.
that rolled under 15,
Okay.
just stand there incapacitated and dumbfounded with their mouth hanging out, staring at where that hypnotic pattern was
Mhm.
for 1 minute.
Wow.
drooling.
What if it's 15 exactly? Does it count?
What's that?
If
Dummies
it's
that made the
15
save.
exactly?
That's success.
Yeah, that's a save.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dirty 20 for me.
So the sponsors are all struck by what has happened. Very impressive. And they're clapping their little golf claps. Huzzah. Encore. All right. So after a minute now, let's go with Will Warren. What would you do to impress the sponsors?
So, how many of these dummies are around at this
You can
point?
have as many as you want. They'll
Okay.
bring them out for you.
Okay. So, if you wouldn't mind, give me like 6. I think
Okay.
that's fine.
All right. So a bunch of dome minions come out and they bring out these dummies and they sit them there and they put them in the positions you want them in.
Okay. So I'll just a little bit up and get an appetizer of a flame blade, and I kind of like just take my my wand and it just ignites. As actually I'll go ahead and cast that at 4th level just for gets and shiggles, and I start to just go to town, just mow them down completely, and then I'll, as they're kind of misting in there, misting, that's not the right word, smoking, there we go, 5 alarm fire, and then I'll spin around and snap my fingers and point at my favorite person, Theodore, and I'll cast Moonbeam and blow him sky high.
Nice.
You're gonna cast it at me? I still have a 4th level spell slot, buddy.
No. I'm pointing at you, but I'm casting it and blowing them.
Okay.
And all this at the
So you're
combine.
pulling like a. Oh, I don't even have to look to destroy that.
Kind of
Cool
like,
guys don't look at
kind of look
explosions.
cool.
Yeah, cool guys don't look at explosions.
Do you put on glasses as you turn around and start pointing?
I already have my goggles on, so yes. And then I go right back to just shuffling cards.
You see me just like glare at you, and my eyes look even more serpentine than before, and like,
Oh dear.
As you do that, I pretend to be one of the catatonic sponsors, like that was you earlier, that was your friends earlier, that was stupid, and I just keep walking.
I can just picture that. All right, Lucha.
awesome.
How will you impress the judges?
I'll ask for some dummies.
Okay.
And I'm taking out my great axe. And I would like them to be placed around me.
Okay. Like close encounter, like in a circle kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
And I want to take a swing at their heads.
Okay.
Just in one
Fail swoop.
swoop.
Take them all off in one circle.
Oh.
Awesome.
Do like a whirlwind.
Mhm.
22.
Yep, that's a success. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So it succeeds.
Yeah, and I'm just putting away my great axe and find myself a corner and yeah.
Just whatever. Yep,
Yep.
I did that. Yep. Just spinning around like do, 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 and like all the heads just like fall off. And you're like, yep, whatever, it's cool, it's me. What now? All right, John, what do you do?
I will whistle for my puma to attack some of the target dummies, and I will imbue my white hot hammer with a radiant glow, and I will swing around and strike all of the target dummies, and then once I got a couple of them, I'll take a couple steps back and start using firebolts and blow the rest.
Okay.
And I'll give a nice pet to my puma.
Aw. So you're like trying to show like compassion to the sponsors.
Yeah, I got a little of everything here.
Okay. Yeah. And Darkness.
I as well ask for some dummies. And I walk out towards the center of the dummies. And as I'm walking into the middle, I snap my fingers, and a an echo of me appears right beside me. It's gray. It's translucent. It sees through, but it looks exactly like me. And both of us grab the staff that was on our sides, and when we both hit the button on the side of it, and these two like laser beams come up from the side, and we slash it at a couple of them, and we're doing fancy twirls and with the thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I love that with the thing.
With the thing.
Yeah,
Some
with
of the
the
other
staff.
The fancy
Some of
twirls
those
with the
things.
thing.
Yes.
Twirlies with the thingy.
And as I'm slashing, me and my echo slash at one across the chest. Another one slashes across the neck of another. Another one, goes right through the head of another one, and then both of us grab a dagger from our pouch, and the final two that was in front of us, we both throw it, and it hits him right in the forehead, and then put it back on my side, and then just kind of walk away.
Nice. All right. And that leaves us then. What you got for us?
I'm thinking a simple display of speed, but as people were setting up a little bit more flamboyant, if you will, demonstrations of skill, I would like to call for an audience. Does anybody fancy themselves to be a good archer?
Ooh.
Maybe a sponsor that's in the audience.
All right. Yeah. There's a sponsor who is well in archery. Mm-hmm.
All right. So the idea would be that we would set up at opposite ends of the demonstration area,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just go ahead and have the see if the this excellent archer might be able to hit me with an arrow as I approach them from the other side of the ring.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good. All right. All right. So the first one is a 19.
All right. One moment, please.
Take your time. Ryan. Donate or I will dominate.
He won't.
Only
Stir
you
the
can
pot.
prevent a TPK. Stir in that pot. Stir in that pot.
The seriousness on your face is amazing.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I don't get this wrong.
No, take your time.
Because
Yeah.
that's a hit, right? So
It's
I mean that would be a
important.
hit against my armor class. So yep, all I really have to do is do a maneuver, a class thing.
Okay.
And
What
then
a maneuver.
it's a little maneuver
Mhm.
to because we're probably considering this to be a combat round. since we all started from this, it's somebody's taking an attack. I'm reacting to the attack.
Mhm.
I'm doing a class thing and plucking the arrow out of the air
Okay.
and tossing it back toward the person, not intending to hit them
Jeez.
necessarily,
Mhm.
but maybe to demonstrate that I could take
a
that
hit.
arrow, throw them back at them, and hit them if I really had felt like it.
Okay.
So, like, maybe make that arrow land somewhere, stick somewhere near them, but that was indicative of the fact that I actually knew where the hell I was throwing it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I guess unless I've got this wrong, there really isn't much I need to do that other than spend a key point.
That's correct. Mhm.
All right. So there we go. Just making sure. Yeah, I was warming up my die, and I was like, yeah, no. That's reaction.
In the reaction.
Yes.
In the process of doing that, would also demonstrate above average speed by kind of sort of sprinting back up to the person while that all happened during the other part of the round of the
Mhm.
turn, right?
Okay.
A 40-foot sprint during the normal 30-ish foot regular person move.
Regular person.
So there you have it. So
All right.
people, it's like I'm picturing the NFL combines, where these athletes do these exercises and people are watching, and one of the things that they rely on a lot is that 40-yard dash. And when they see somebody who can really take off running really fast, and then you combine that with the fact that they're being shot at, and then they snag the arrow out of the air and throw it back at the person, it's like, holy shit.
Okay. So that will take us to the end of the scene.